Hello everyone. So in this session, we will be performing the execution of our Docker compose.yml file with the help of Docker compose command and whatever the file that we have already prepared in our last session. So let's get started. So at the very first hand, if you can see that my Windows PowerShell is actually been opened, and I'm pointing to this same location where my Docker compose.yml file is already been located. So first, just to be ensured that whatever the containers are actually running in my system, so the command can be docker ps hyphen and then space and hyphen a. So if you see this, so currently none of the containers are actually running in my specific system. And moreover, you can also find the current Docker running status and whatever the container or images are running on your system by the help with the help of the Docker desktop, right? So this is the Docker desktop is a recent interface that you can see, and it is very interactable also. So currently, if you see that I am in this container tab, and nothing is actually running on, right? And so it is saying like your running containers show up here. That means nothing is up and running at this moment. Okay. So now what we will do is we will try to execute our .yml file just to ensure that we are exactly onto the same location, and our yml file is also available. So to do that, what we can do is we can simply write dir. So as this is Windows PowerShell, so that's the reason the command is dir. But if you are running on Mac or Unix or Linux based system, so for your case it could be ls. So if you can see that this is the file name, that is docker-compose.yml that we have already created. This is already there in this specific directory. Now if I just simply write this command called docker-compose and then -f, and simply just mention the file name, and we can say up and we can say -d. So once this command has been executed, if you see this, that it is saying like the containers that is called selenium hub docker hyphen firefox 1 and docker hyphen chrome, those are already created and running. Just one thing, just to tell you that as I already have like tested this in my system, that's the reason that images are already been present. That's the reason like it won't take much time. But if you are going to do it for the first time, so it will take some time just to pull up the image and required container from the docker hub, right? And you can expect around 1 minute or probably 2 minutes of time to setting up all those infra on those configuration, and then it can like start running on it, right? So that is expected. So as those are already started, so what we can do is we can also go to this docker desktop, right? And if you see that initially when we launch it, we haven't found any kind of this kind of display, this kind of overview, right? But now we can see that these details, right, these images are actually, or containers are actually running on. So this is my selenium hub, whatever the version we have already mentioned, and these all are the ports, if you see that. So these all are the ports that it is basically running on, and this is your Chrome image that is been executing, and this is your Firefox that we have already configured with the help of Docker Compose, right? So this much easy that with the help of Docker Compose.yml, that we haven't need to re-specify those details. Those are already there, and we just re-executed the command, and that's it. Now, if you see that there is a link that is already been mentioned over here, that these are the specified link that your Selenium hub is actually up and running. So either you can click over here directly, it will by default launch your default browser, or you can directly go to this and you can refresh the specific localhost :4444. And if you see that my browser nodes are actually up and running now, right? So these are the nodes. So if you see this, so currently we have configured two browser node. One is your Firefox and another one is the Chrome. And also this is actually running on your Linux based system, right? Now the query can be like in our previous example, we have seen that on that time our nodes were actually running on the Windows, but now this logo is showing like Linux. The only thing is like this is another place from where we can actually ensure that our nodes are actually running from the Docker image, because whatever the Docker image are being executing, those are Linux based image, and whatever we have already executed locally with the help of Selenium server standalone jar, those are that we have executed from our specific local machine only. For my case, this is Windows. That's the difference. Okay, so now we have two browsers, which is like up and running and very good actually. So now if we already have this, and our next job is going to be like we would like to execute the test. Okay, but before going into this, let's find out like one more thing from here, that it may possible, or if there is a chance that okay, once you set up this Selenium hub and all the specific node associated with it, but we also need to check that logs, right? That is very important, right? Just to be make sure that all things are going good, or probably if there is any error, then how we can troubleshoot or maybe debug it. So to do that, what you can do is, if you see this Selenium hub in your Docker desktop, and if you click on this three dot symbol, there is an option called view details. If you go there, so you can see a log viewer can open on in front of you, and it is already started logging couple of things, right? So just open, just it will be recommended that you can keep it open. And now if we just go to our specific project, and we already have our testng.xml set up over here. Let me just launch it. Yeah, so those browsers are like Chrome and Firefox, just like our previous example. Now if we just try to start this execution, right? So let's see, my execution is actually started, and if you see that there, the specific browser and all those details are actually started logging over here. Moreover, if you just go to this, your session is actually started, go to the session part, and if you see that one session that is been Chrome is already been executing, and another session that is for Firefox is already been executing. And folks, these things is actually captured through your Docker, right? So all these things are actually happening within the Docker instance. um, okay, yeah, so our execution is already completed. If you go to this in the overview, so your execution is also completed. And moreover, you can see that these details also you can find it out. So this is the specific Selenium hub container logs that you can actually find it out. Moreover, if you would like to see from the node specific, maybe this is your node that you would like to see the logs and all, the similar way you can go to this view details part, and whatever the logs are already been captured, you can actually see from there. Okay, so these are the details that you can see from the specific nodes. So this is very helpful actually for checking the status and the health of the specific node and the containers. Now, one more command, if you remember, we have already described in our last session, that is called scaling up, right? So currently, we have only two browser, like two nodes, only one instance for Chrome, Firefox, and another instance for Chrome. So let's say I would like to increase this Chrome instance, maybe three more instances, total five or more than that, right? So to do that, what we can do is we can just write docker hyphen compose, and you can say that up one flag is called scale, and then Chrome equal to maybe five more instance I just wanted to scaling up, and finally it can be on the hyphen D, which stands for detached mode. Now if you press enter and wait for some time, just for execution. Now we can see that the chrome images, right? So these chrome containers, right, those are also started. So if you observe that initially we had only one chrome container and one firefox container in the zoom mode. So those are already running, and one two three four more chrome containers has been started, right? Just because of the specific command, scaling up command, whatever we have written. And similarly, if you go to this Docker desktop, you can see that your count for Chrome containers have already been increased, right? So, and moreover, if you see this Selenium grid also showing up the additional Chrome nodes that has been added. So now it is very easier for further more execution. Maybe if you would like to allocate more threads and more tests for your specific test execution, you can actually utilize this. Okay, so this is how we can actually scaling up and trigger and set up the selenium grid and node setup with the help of Docker. I hope this session is helpful, and and thanks for watching.